What's up, everybody? So you got to replace your locks. You need to rekey. Let's say you own a business or you're a landlord and there's a reason somebody lost a key or a new tenant. The quickest way to do this is typically to get somebody who's really quick and fast as a locksmith to rekey, but that's not always easy to do. And also there's labor and there's a per lock fee typically. So what I'm going to show you today is just as easy if you're a little bit handy and you don't have to rekey. You do have to buy something new, but it's not that difficult. So I'll show you how to do this, and it's pretty quick. I bought a 4-pack right here, and it's 2 deadbolts and 2 knobs, and I only need 2 knobs and 1 deadbolt, but I'm going to replace them all right now, and it takes hardly any time because I don't have to do the latches. Everything's already there, and I'll show you how easy it is. When I got an estimate from a locksmith who's a good guy, it was still in the range of like $75 to get the person to come out and do them on site. And honestly, that's more than what I just paid. So it's going to take me like 20 minutes to do this, and I'll show you now. Okay, so these are the first 2 that I'm going to do. We've got the deadbolt and the knob lock. I've got one other knob lock that I'm going to replace that's on an interior door and doesn't have a deadbolt because there's other doors that lock outside of the building. But this is what we're replacing. Now, you might say, oh, all this stuff I have to replace. No, these are staying. That's what's nice about this. Everything on the building and on the door is staying. We're just replacing these parts. And you might feel like that's kind of wasteful to get an entire pack, but those 4 locking locks, they all match. The keys match, so I don't even have to worry about rekeying anything. All 4 of them match. So now I've got another door if I want, I can use the deadbolt on. So anyways, these all match, let's do it. A lot of people say don't use power tools on this stuff, but these are getting thrown out. Actually, I might keep them, but anyways, you're going to take off the back side, the inside of the part of the door, and take these out. These are pretty long. And what you're going to see is there's just a little square peg on the inside that this is going to slide through. So this locking mechanism and cylinder just has to slide into the old mechanism here, that old deadbolt, right? So I'm going to take this out, and this will probably fall off the back here. So there we go. So you see that pin that's going through there? So this is what I'm after. I want this part. I could have just done that little cylinder, but honestly, this is going to cost me less than having somebody else do it. So, and it's pretty easy, as you can see. So, this is probably stuck on because of the paint. Yep. All right. So now, if you look, all that's in there is that little hex or the little cross. That's what the new one's going to go right through. And then when you put that back together, you zip up the screws through these 2 holes here. And you put it together, literally right away works because you don't have to replace any of this stuff. Same thing I'm going to do for the knob here. You usually have to angle around the knob a little bit. These are kind of old, but alright. So that is pretty well set. And again, this whole thing, to have I keep saying electrician, to have a locksmith do this was going to cost me like $75, which isn't bad to have 3 replaced and the labor and travel and all that. And I got this whole matching set of 4 locks with tacks for $55, and all the keys are going to match. So pretty sweet and easy. All right, so now you got to pull this part out. So same thing, it's got that flat piece down the middle. And this one's going to have, it's got a flat piece, and then it also, that goes into this side, and then the square piece is what turns the actual latch, right? So if you put that square piece in there and turn it, it's going to open the door. Okay? So that's really all you got to do. You've got those 2 off. Now we're going to put the new ones on, zip it back together with 4 screws, and you're done. So, interesting. This will be a good little problem to solve real quick. So the new deadbolt, instead of using a flat piece like most do, has a square piece. So I actually do have to replace this part. But what's nice is that it's already set where it is, and you literally do 2 screws here, pull it out, put this in, and you're good. The knobs should be fine. So I'll do that real quick on camera so you can see how fast that goes. Hopefully that you can see it. So making sure this is in alignment is important, but it should be close because there's only 2 drill holes there. And you might need to pop this with something. the screwdriver or the old lock. Pop it out somehow. There we go. So I just pushed it through, pulling that lock part in. So there we go. That's out. So hopefully this won't be deeper than the other one. That's the only thing that we could run into that's going to be a bummer. It might be. We might have to drill it out a little further, but we'll see. Oh, alright, so that fits. We're good. So that fits right there. It's a little bit out, but I think it's going to fit okay in this door. So let's see. Let's screw that back in. This actually is probably going to come together okay. And have enough room to still close. But if it doesn't, I'm going to have to chisel out a little bit more space. Let's see. Hopefully it closes. And it does. Alright, so that's good. And if you do that, make sure you got your old knob. So you can open it back up. Alright. I've done that before on the wrong side of the door. Alright, there we go. So that's good to go. I can put that back together now. So typically on these deadbolts, you're going to have two really long screws that you're going to put in there. So let's do the new one here. Okay, so we're putting our pin through here. Putting our pin through. So now once this other side is on, it will pull the pin across, or pull the deadbolt across. So I want this up and down like that. I'll put the screws in with it locked, and boom. So now it's in the position of locked, and I've got the two long screws that I'll use here. And this can be somewhat tricky sometimes finding the hole on the other side, but usually it's not too bad. Well, you might have to rotate your lock on the outside because it's not where it's supposed to be. If that isn't perfectly up and down on the outside, the screws on the other side are not going to be either. So, or where you're trying to hit them won't be either. So you've got to make sure that you're in the right orientation and you've got everything up and down on both sides. Alright, that first one's in. Gonna give it a little bit of love here. Alright, now I gotta get the other one going. Make sure I hit that other one. Hopefully this is level on the other side. And it'll be pretty close. Yep, I feel I got the groove there. And now before you tighten it all the way up, you're going to want to make sure that you're pretty well even and straight up and down on both sides. So just level it out. You can eyeball it or go even more than that if you want, but it's pretty good to me. Alright, deadbolt working. Boom. Perfect. So now we're going to do the handle. And this one should be a lot faster and easier because we're not messing around with having to do, hopefully, the latch. So I lied about everything. So these honestly don't work with each other. So that's what that is. So we do need to replace the other latch. So let's see how hopefully easily that goes. So this just turned into a tutorial about how to put in a new deadbolt and doorknob, which is fine. But let's see. Again, assuming these all plug back together the way that, and the holes are the right sizes, shouldn't really matter too much. But alright, that's out. Okay, so there goes latch part. Here's our new latch. Make sure it's in the right orientation and that it slides onto the right location of where the other one was. This looks like it's going to be really pretty smooth actually. No issue. What'll happen is you might have to chisel out some of the wood behind it because it's not as flush as the other one, but this looks to be pretty straightforward. Make sure it's snug. Oop, don't strip it. Yeah, don't use an impact drill for this like I do. I'm just lazy and I should be using the right one. So anyways, now we want our lock on this side, and we want it vertical up and down. Okay, so with the quick set, apparently, this won't go in until you press this in. So you have to push the button in and it'll seize up. So I'm sure that's some sort of security measure. But anyways, so that is now in. You see the two screw inputs on these two sides here that also are connected. So just going to hold that up there and get ourselves lined up. We want to have orientation being correct, and we want the lock to be in the right orientation too, as far as like saying it's locked or saying it's not. And this part rotates however you want it, so I want this to go like that, and I want that to be locked, we want that to be open. Alright, so now we're on, and all I need to do is screw it together. And these are just a little bit smaller than the ones for the deadbolt. But again, the tricky part is, especially on the knobs, first is finding the hole, but also getting around the actual knob, which is why you're really not supposed to use power tools when you're doing putting them together, because it doesn't work that well, because you'll hit the knob. But again, just lazy. A lot of times less is more, getting these connected up so they can find that groove. Okay, that one's in there. And in theory, you can use your drill if you're careful and do it at an angle, and you won't strip it. Alright, that is on. Alright, that is on. So we're good there. All set. And pretty easy. So locked, unlocked, locked, unlocked. Bam. So I'll show you the satisfaction of that real quick. And again, not the nicest of locks, but they work fine. And we're locked, and we're locked. And my buddy used to always say that locks are there to keep honest people honest. And I think that's about all we should trust them for, because if somebody wants to get in here, yeah. So, keeping honest people honest. Alright, hopefully this is helpful. I'll do the other one on my own time so you don't have to waste your time. I'll show you where it is. It's over here. That one just goes to a center hallway. So that's going to be easy enough to do. And that one, hopefully, I know I'm going to have to do the actual latch and the knob too. So it turns out I just ended up replacing the entire lock set and latch for both of these. So in a perfect world though, what I would have done is I would have checked the locks that were existing, and then I would have replaced like for like. So that would be my advice. Typically you're going to see the inside of the knob has a square hole and the deadbolt has a flat pin. But Kwikset apparently has come up with their own proprietary system, and that's probably just to make sure that people, when they're using their stuff, they're only using their stuff. So, similar to Apple. Hopefully you watched this video and enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe. And if you're looking to learn how to replace an entire lock set and the entire apparatus, now you know how to do that too. So, thanks again for watching.